And so it's co-organized by the Office of International Programs, Helen Gaudet, and me from the FIT Artistry and Museum Professions program, and the Cultural Fellows. And today, actually, this is really a student-driven event. So Zeke and Marissa came up really with the idea for a fantastic conversation. I think I'm very much looking forward. And I hand it over to Zeke.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you. And thank you to everybody joining us, wherever in the world you're joining us from. We're very excited. We have a great group of panelists here today who will be talking about the creative landscape in Eastern Europe, specifically Georgia. And for those of you who may not be familiar with Eastern European geography, Georgia is indeed a country. It is not the state here in the US. And so this is where most of our panelists are currently based. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Zeke Edwards. I'm an entrepreneurship student here at FIT. I'm currently based in New York. I'm joined by my lovely co-moderator who can introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marissa Lee. I'm coming to you from Saskatchewan, Canada, and I'm an advertising and marketing student here at FIT and a freelance writer.
Amazing. So for the sake of time, we'll just jump right into it. I'd really like our panelists to briefly introduce themselves. If you could just tell us where you're currently based and a brief summary of what it is that you do. Maybe we could have Salome start us off.
Okay, hello everyone. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me today. Well, I'm based in Tbilisi, Georgia. I started working in fashion industry in 2012 with Maia Materiel. And then a few years ago, I started at first freelancing with some of my old colleagues who started establishing their own brands. I started working with them. And then after 2 or 3 years, I established my own agency, Noise. Now I help them like officially as an agency. I have few employees. We have 8 brands for now, and we are helping these brands to develop here in Georgia and outside Georgia. We help with sales, we help with PR, with logistics, like everything that's connected to business and that's related to business.
Perfect. Maia, would you like to continue? Introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi. Thanks for inviting me. I'm very honored. I'm Maia. I'm CEO and founder of 2 fashion brands, which are located in Georgia, Materiel Tbilisi and Tbilisi.
Perfect. And Beso.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thank you for inviting. So my name is Beso. I'm originally Georgian, but I'm based in Moscow right now. But like I spent like all my life in different countries. I went to study in US, then I lived in London, etc., etc. And basically, I'm doing 2 things. The main thing right now is my fashion brand Berhazen that I started around 2 years ago, and the other one is branding and communications agency. So yeah.
Amazing.
Wonderful. Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for your lovely introductions. I think, as Zeke was saying, for the sake of time, we would love to just jump right into the questions. So Salome, we want to start with you. So as you mentioned, you've worked with Maia, and as we were kind of talking about before, there's this kind of community in Georgia of artists and fashion creatives. So can you tell us a little bit about this community of artists in Tbilisi, in Georgia in general, and just about like the nature of your relationships with your fellow creatives?
Yes, well, back in 2012 when we started, Maia will agree with me that there was like no fashion industry in Georgia. Like everything was so complicated. Yes, really, like we had so much problems. We had no resources at all. And these young designers, they were just beginning. They didn't even know how to work in a big company like Materiel. And we started working with them. We learned everything working with them. We learned everything from outside from our other colleagues. We learned everything from experience, actually. And then we established like this community of young designers who like all of them started at Materiel, and then they grew up, and then they now they have their own brands, like all of them. And Materiel was like a hub of these young artists. We've been inviting like the most promising designers in Georgia, young generation, to work with us, and we gave them everything. Started with the materials to work with, ending with sales. We worked with them along the way, and now they all have like very successful brands of their own.
That's wonderful. So you guys were really laying the groundwork, I guess, for this industry. That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Wow. Maia, my next question is for you. So
Yes.
I recently discovered that Materiel acts as kind of like a brand or an incubator for local talent, allowing different designers to create a new chapter in the brand's history for a specific period of time. So can you tell us how Materiel works as a launching pad for a lot of these young Georgian designers, and why this approach to creative direction is so important to the brand identity?
Well, we practically, as Salome said, we started from scratch after the collapse of Soviet Union. There was the fashion as a business there is no business. It was not as a business. I mean, it was a new phenomenon for Georgia. Still, fashion as a business is in a young stage of development now. So. The culture around it is so young, we really wanted to pave the road to the young designers to achieve success in global market, and we worked really hard with them, as Salome said. Again, from the beginning, there was nothing around, and we really helped to develop all these business models in Materiel. And since the rebranding of Materiel in 2015, our job was to include fashion as one of the avenues of this artistic expression. And in a country that made of communities that recently broke away from these oppressive part realities of Soviet Union, and we wanted to capitalize on the new avenues to express these artistic visions in a form of fashion and streetwear. So that where inspiration came from, actually from that era, actually, to of the resilience and expression of our culture drive and survival from that era. But still, when it comes to designing process, of designing of collections, for us, that culture plays a big role and in a creative process. But we are a global brand, and for our inspiration come from the broader elements. And my goal as a CEO and the founder was, as I said, to pave the road of those undiscovered young designers who didn't have a chance to achieve anything by themselves, and give them help, little push. They have so much to say through their work and journey, so we really help them to achieve a lot. And I mean, as you see, a lot of well-known Georgian designers right now, they're by themselves. They achieved really good. They're really well-known, achieved success in global market, and I'm really happy for them.
Absolutely. And I mean, especially in the fashion industry with students, access to mentorship and to materials and to guidance can be one of the biggest barriers to entry. So it's so important that you guys have an initiative like this.
Yes, and we also have this internship program. We collaborate with a lot of schools, so we take interns, and they work closely with our designers and also management team, like marketing, social media. So we try to open our doors for everybody who is willing to work or willing to study.
Absolutely. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing. Now, Beso, we wanted to ask you specifically about your collective Burhasm. So it spans Russia, Ukraine, and Georgia. Can you tell us a little bit about the creative scenes in these three countries? So do they interconnect, or what are maybe the more distinguishing characteristics between the three of them?
Yeah, well, so originally we started Burhasm, as you said, as a collective, and you know, like I have like this, of course, like a group of people, a group of friends who come from different backgrounds, from different countries, mostly post-Soviet countries, and there are photographers, there are artists, painters, and we decided to start something where in this route they could express themselves and express their background. We got like united by this idea that we all come from, we're like 80s, 90s kids, and it was a very interesting period in life of our countries. So yeah, that's how we started, and basically we do collaborations and we take different pieces of art. For example, if we collaborate with a photographer and you know, try to tell some story, and in most of well, we've had like so far only 3 collections, and the 4th is coming, but I'm always trying to explore the idea of being a refuge, because it's something that has been like in my life forever, you know, as a kid who is Georgian but who is not seen as very Georgian in Georgia, but who lives in Russia but is seen not Russian enough. It's always very, you know, it's very specific kind of feeling. So yeah, that's how we work, and we launched the brand almost 2 years ago in Paris during the Fashion Week. So we had a pop-up show and a fun like party / show in an underground sex club, because Burhasm is all about something that people want to express that they're not allowed to express. So we are always, you know, playing on the edge of something that we can say and something that will not get us to prison.
That's great. Thank you. So my next question is for Salome. What is most important to you about a brand's narrative and the consulting that you provide them through your agency? Why did you start the agency, and what is your main goal when presenting these Georgian designers to the global audience?
Well, the main idea of the agency is to help these designers at the beginning of their careers to, like, I want to share my experience with them. I want to help them to become successful on a global market. And as many brands from Georgia become more successful in global market, more people will learn about our country, more people will learn about Georgian designers, and more people will pay attention to us. Why I choose the brands that I work with is because I see potential in them. And the first thing I ask them is to, well, first of all, to believe in themselves, that they can do whatever they want to do. And also to trust us, to trust me and my team, that we're going to do everything for them to make their goals, to achieve their goals. So yes, well, I want to help these brands to become as successful as possible in this industry today. I want them to be on the level where it's like Jacques Mus and where is like Jonathan Anderson and those kinds of brands. I want to do that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's so important.
Yes. And I think like all of them have a very, very good potential, and they can become those kinds of brands. They can achieve those levels. And we've started steps. We've taken a lot of steps towards that. And we are now selling in a major shops worldwide. And yes, well, we are going towards that goal step by step, slowly, but we are getting there.
Slowly but surely. Yeah, I mean, even looking through the catalog of brands through your website, they're all so different, but they are really like, seem to be on this fashion vanguard, and they're very much young and creative and emerging, and you can tell you pay a lot of attention into the brands that you select and you represent.
Yes, and I also want, I choose the designers who respect the work they're doing, who respect their clothes, who respect their collections, who treat them very carefully, and who think about what they are doing. So this is very important also for me.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. They should love their jobs, and they should believe in themselves. I mean, it's a pretty hard work they do.
Exactly. And when I see it, the designer who's working 24/7 and who is like never tired of doing what they are doing, then I get inspired from them, and then I want to do more and more for these brands and for these designers.
Right. Yeah, it's a labor of love. I can imagine. I'm a writer, so I've never done the hands-on stuff, but I can tell it's definitely a labor of love. Yeah. So Maia, both Materiel and Dots are part of the fashion house. I might be saying this wrong. Materius brand portfolio. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. One of the oldest apparel manufacturers in Georgia. So can you tell us a bit about this relationship? How do you feel this contributes to your products in terms of quality, craftsmanship, and sustainability?
I think, the roots, as you know, come from Fashion House Material from 1949, and one of the oldest apparel manufacturing in Georgia. And we saved the textile company industry after that, the collapse of Soviet Union, and refurbished, rebuild everything, and then rebuild the factory again, and we started to focus on export and international cooperation. And later, when we decided to have Material as a new brand of Fashion House Material, then it was founded 2012, of course, and we started to gear all these young designers around us who had no experience and no talents, and it was a creative hub as in Georgia, and that time it was pretty new for fashion, so it was a good platform we provided for the designers. As Salome said, we are more into help and growing this business in Georgia, so it's pretty new. Kind of. And so then in 2016, we decided to, and Material was a global brand, and we went internationally. We focused on more exporting our apparel, and we are in lots of stores around the world, and also e-commerce platforms. And then 2016, we decided, why not to have a birth of Georgian, another brand, Dots, and we wanted to focus on local clients, because who couldn't afford Material, and really didn't want to wear chain brands. So our designers agreed to take part in this a new brand, and they worked in Material and also making clothes for
collections for Dots.
For local people. And we wanted to we started to thinking towards sustainability, and the main point of Dots was to use kind of upcycle and to use the fabrics what Material used, and it was left over. We didn't want to throw out everything, and we started to use those products and really made very, very good apparel, women's clothing. And it was kind of hub also. Dots, it was kind of concept store. We had a little community, Georgian community there. We were selling books. We had gallery openings, book readings, kind of very music events and interesting evenings also. And local
we also
people
had Jewelry designers, yeah, many.
Jewelry designers, because there's so many talents here and they have so much to say to their work, and they didn't have any place to sell those goods. And I mean, it was very popular actually, right? And among
yes,
the
and
tourists, for local people.
Located in a very touristic area, so everyone
very old,
walk around
like part of Tbilisi. Yeah, we had I mean, actually, unfortunately, due to pandemic, we had to close one of the locations in the old center of Tbilisi where tourists loved to come. They still keep writing us about these stores. There was a coffee shop, like we used to serve wine, and it was kind of like home for them. You know, they used to love, even during the fashion week, all these buyers and guests were coming and were spending time indoors. So hopefully after pandemic, we will reopen the doors for.
Yeah, you can return to that community-centered environment. That's wonderful. Beso, I want to know, yeah, absolutely. So Berhasm, your collective, is not just a fashion brand, but a music, arts, and kind of cultural collective in a lot of ways. Can you tell us a bit about the spirit of this project, and what were your sources of inspiration? I know you touched on this a little bit before. And maybe how has this inspiration kind of evolved throughout the pandemic?
Yeah, well, as I said, we kind of collaborate with different artists, and originally from the first season, it was with DJs, because we're very close to electronic music scene in Russia, and you know, we collaborated with 2 different major clubs in Moscow. We also did a collaboration with a Parisian club, where we basically created pieces that kind of, you know, showed the spirit of both, like why Berhasm and the collaborator decided to do so. So yeah, that was like something that we did before the pandemic. Of course, when we were like in lockdown, in Moscow, lockdown was way shorter than anywhere in the world, because of many reasons, but yeah, life is back to normal now, so yeah, we're continuing doing that, and yeah, we basically welcome anyone who wants to join the Berhasm team, and we also do our own parties where, you know, this online community from our social media, from website, they can actually come, and it's really fun when people come wearing all full Berhasm. It's always flattering.
Yeah.
And yeah, and people can, you know, connect, and it's fun that people can find. I mean, any brand has a you know, like fan base or people who like the brand, but when we do these events quite often, like maybe once in 3-4 months, people can connect on different levels, so it's always fun. Yeah, we've done collaborations mainly with within Russia, Ukraine, and in Europe we did France. In Georgia we did one fashion show at Mercedes-Benz, which was great, and yeah, and I want to say that actually I got lucky to go to Mercedes-Benz because I was giving this interview to Vogue in Russia, and I was basically like talking about like 20 minutes when they asked me, what do you think about fashion industry in Russia? And I was like, okay, this is just not working, guys. Like, look at Georgia. Like, Georgia is doing amazing job.
Yeah.
We should do like that. And then, and after that, Fashion Week happened for us in Georgia. And, you know, that was actually the first time when I got to see, as much as I could see during the crazy days of Fashion Week, how people work together. And it's something which is kind of like amazing, how people and designers from different brands support each other. And, you know, like, even I came here and I just messaged one guy I knew, like, okay, we're coming for the Fashion Week, and I also want to do a campaign. And this guy, he has his own brand and very successful, and he was very busy with the Fashion Week, but he was like, okay, I'm gonna style for you. So like, we're gonna do this and that, and I'm gonna find you a photographer. So, you know, like, people, as Salome and Maya said, here in Georgia, I'm in Georgia right now, actually. Yeah, the community is very strong. and very, very tight. And I think, well, as a Georgian myself, I can say like maybe historically there are only 3.5 million Georgians, and historically we're just used to kind of like helping each other. Otherwise, you know, like we're surrounded by these countries around who always wanted to overtake Georgia, and Georgians were like, okay, we have to do something about it. And it's still going on. While in Russia, it's very different. Even if, you know, I think like resources wise, of course, Russia has way more than Georgia has, but the scene is not as developed at all. And I think the main reason is that there is no community, and I think that's the foundation for anything, especially if it's just starting. And it's difficult to create something, to create an industry by yourself, even if your brand itself is great. It can do great. You know, there are several Russian brands who are great and are doing good on international markets, but still it does not reflect the industry itself. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that was great. Deep dive into.
Yeah, I love to hear about this whole interconnected kind of community you have, because even from an outside perspective, when we were kind of researching people to pull for this panel, it looked like such a fun community to be a part of, and everyone kind of has a relationship. So it's wonderful to hear that firsthand. And that kind of does lead us into our next question about more international attention on Georgia. Salome, as someone who works behind the scenes kind of in fashion with sales and PR with Noisy, can you tell us a little bit about how the fashion industry in Georgia has grown so much over the last decade? I mean, we've kind of been touching at that over the course of this conversation, but why do you think now, especially, there's so much international attention paid to your region and all the emerging talent?
Yes. Well, I don't really love talking about this because there is just like one answer to this question. Like 5 or 6 years ago, Demna Gvasalia became creative director of Balenciaga.
Because we have years.
Yes, and after that, like everyone paid attention to Georgia. I think everyone was searching for another Demna, and they found a lot of Demnas here. Yes, and some of them even better, if I might say. Yes, sorry, but yes, I mean, this was like the first step, and every article that was written about Georgia or Georgian designers or our fashion industry was starting with Demna and introducing that, okay, this is the country where Demna is from, and you should learn more about Georgia. And then there was this whole article about designers and country itself. So yeah, this played a major role in making Georgian fashion industry popular worldwide. But also there was Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, who I think also got lucky that this all happened at the same time that people started being interested in Georgia, and they started attracting very serious people in fashion industry. And they came here to Georgia, and I think they saw what they were not expecting. I mean, maybe they were expecting something good, but they were not expecting like this good. So yes, we have many very talented designers, and they are really, really good. And so these international guests, they started talking about Georgia, and they started writing about Georgia, and we started selling internationally, and this all happened because of this attention that started with Demna's becoming creative director.
Wine, food, and country, everything together. Hospitality.
Georgia is a very it's a very very small country, and for a small country like this to have these many talented designers and to discover this like I don't know, like a small pearl, maybe. It was unexpected for everyone. And what they saw here, the community also, that all the designers were helping each other in backstage during Fashion Week, they were also not expecting this. So they were like fascinated with what they saw in Georgia. And this all happened. Actually, it all happened like very fast, and it lasted for like 2 or 3 years that people were still talking about us, and we were not expecting that. And then we seized the moment. We also became very active in communicating outside world in like global fashion industry. So a few brands really established themselves and during this period.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Perfect. No, Marissa and I are dying to come to Tbilisi. In fact, we have a favorite Georgian restaurant here in New York. I'm waiting for her to come back so we can go again.
Yeah, absolutely.
My
Yeah,
friend's
you're welcome
restaurant.
anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
But food is better.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better. So you should come over during maybe next fashion week. We have live, not digital anymore. So we all hope that.
That would be incredible. Maia, I would like to know kind of what the future of Materiel looks like after this very interesting time that we've gone through. Obviously, the fashion industry has experienced so many changes throughout the pandemic. But what does the strategy at Materiel really look like as we move forward into a post-pandemic world?
Well, should I talk about the impact of pandemic? I mean, well, as you all know, this pandemic has extreme effects on the fashion industry, especially like from closing the stores to like buyers canceling the orders last minute and like last second when we pack them, and that has all negative effects on our brands, such like little brands such as, and new brands, young brands. It was extremely frustrating and challenging, and now we are adapting to this a new normal, and nobody knows what new normal is though, but it will take some time to know that. And during the pandemic, I had to be quick in my decision and decision making, and strategize how to act quickly and in a crisis that pandemic presented, and not to crack under the responsibility, that pressure of responsibility that I had towards my employee, and we have 300 employees. So, and we really sat down with our team and go on with my staff and go back to the basics and of materials ethics and values, and we try to make a decision what to do in the future, and we tried to save all the jobs, keep everybody on payroll, and
Wow.
I think yes, it was very hard decision. I mean, everything was closed, and we had to shift the gears towards and our resources towards what was in high demand that time, and we started to make medical stuff. We started to make face mask and also medical wear like robes, and went on online. So looking for opportunities in the midst crisis. But right now, I'm very honored that I had played even a small role in serving our economy and also helping all these people to feed their families. So actually, yeah, so, and also for the future plans, I mean, we haven't stopped. We are non-stop. I mean, we work 24/7, and as the world, and we decided to move forward, and we went to digital also with our markets. We have 4 time her ears. So hopefully we're hoping for the better future and reopening all these stores, and hopefully everything gets better.
Wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Zeke and I are, as we mentioned, dying to take a trip, and that will be our first stop, is coming to visit you guys.
I mean, we're hoping. I mean, we depend on international. I mean, buyers and sellers. Of course, the e-commerce. Yeah, e-commerce stores are still working, but actual stores were really closed. The whole pandemic, I guess, Europe was closed, and U.S. stores were closing. So it was really hard. Our sales went down.
Are you presenting at Mercedes-Benz Digital this isn't it this week?
No, not this time. We're waiting for real, I mean, not digital one. Maybe in the future, season will take part.
Looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yes, we are looking forward.
And this last question, kind of an outline question, but Beso, we just wanted to ask you about these shifts your career has made. I mean, since you went to, I think it was NYU, but Googling you have like a Wikipedia page and an IMDb page and all these different resources. And I wanted to ask you how you kind of moved from like film directing to starting Bearhouse and this fashion collective, and now your own consulting agency, and like what led to these shifts in your career.
Well, yeah, I went to NYU and I studied film, and it was a difficult decision, especially having traditional Georgian parents, because you have to go to study like economics or law or something. And I was like, I want to make movies. So yeah, storytelling is something that I always loved, and I shot my last film in 2014, and it went to Cannes. And I sold it, and at that point I felt like I don't want to do it anymore ever again in my life. For some reason that just happened, even if I was always very passionate about it. And then I feel like anything that is all around art is all about storytelling. And like fashion is such a great way, like being this applicational art and combining all these different stories in one kind of like design route, that I just felt like it was something to do, something good to do. And also, this last year was quite difficult in terms of getting inspired, because we kind of originally we're only 2 years old, but originally we paid a lot of attention to digital, and selling through our e-store globally was something that was like the most important for me. So we kind of like tried to gather all our audience digitally, and we tried to keep them kind of like happy and kind of like make them being involved in our life. And it was quite difficult, but I feel like now it's kind of like becoming much better. And finally in Russia, like everything is open and we can create like more new campaigns. We love creating campaigns, situational campaigns. Of course we do seasonal stuff. Like we went to Paris in twice for the fashion weeks, but we like since we are very young and energetic, we kind of like to react to what is happening globally or nationally in terms of like politics or culture. And we decide to do something, and in 2 weeks we have it. But of course, we also had these problems during COVID, because 50% of our stuff is made in Italy, and Italy was closed. So we had to, reinvent ourselves and move everything to Russia. It was very difficult. So yeah, sorry, going back to your question. Yeah, storytelling is basically something that I've always loved. And I feel like fashion, in fashion, you can combine everything. You can combine design, you can combine art, poetry, cinema, photography. So I feel like it's something unique where you can do many different things, especially when you're a young designer and you don't have, this theme of hundreds of people, and our design team at Berhasm is only 7 people. At Electric it's 45. It's a different business, so of course we all do like, you know, different things and wear different masks. So yeah.
Incredible. Wonderful. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to allow our audience to ask any questions. This is your opportunity to speak with these incredibly talented people that you might not otherwise have the chance to meet. So feel free to raise your hand or type into the chat box. If you do have a question, we'd be happy to answer them.
I think we do have a question here from Rachel. Did you want to turn your mic on?
Yeah, hi guys, my name's Rachel. I'm also a student at FIT. I'm an advertising and marketing major. Beso, I'm super inspired by everything you've said. I really feel like I relate to the brand you've created, like this collective of just art and fashion and cinema, just all of it together. And I think you kind of answered it, but as you kept talking, I just wanted to ask, with the pandemic, what has been, I know you said you've like worked with clubs and DJs, and I love that so much. So how have you translated that through the pandemic, and how have you been able to kind of create this just experience through your e-commerce since it's the pandemic?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Rachel. So basically, you know, there were like different ways. One, for example, was the last small campaign we shot. It was around 2 months ago, and we shot it totally on long distance. So basically, we found these models who are a couple who live with their neighbor who is a photographer. So they shot this campaign inside of their apartment on a green screen. They found something greenish. So we created this campaign totally being on distance. And we have this friend of ours who does the 3D design, and we created these collages, and the campaign is called Lock the World Down. And basically this couple in our clothes are, you know, like traveling through galaxy and planets and kind of like missing their old life and stuff like that. So yeah, and of course we told this story that, you know, this campaign was shot during the pandemic, and you still can continue, you know, creating something even if there are so many restrictions. Of course, you know, I feel like the hardest and the most difficult times always forced people to come up with something new and creative. I'm not talking about this campaign, but in general, it's, you know, just anything that pushes you out of your comfort zone. Sometimes it can be very beneficial, especially for the artistic process.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks.
It looks like we have one more question. Sharina, am I saying that correctly?
Hi guys, I'm really excited and honored and happy to get to know my fellow Georgians, and I think I'm the only Georgian in the audience here. So,
Hi.
Hi. So I'm a student at FIT. My major is cosmetics and fragrance marketing, and I'm really honored to see all these designers coming up. And I actually didn't know so many designers. Like Salome said, there are so many Demna Gwasalias in Georgia. Like, I'm really happy. So I'm coming back to Georgia this summer, and I was wondering if you have any events going on, so I could see like all the, like you said, you have like these events for in old Tbilisi, and like spots like to see all the designers and jewelry and fashion designers. Is there anything going on this summer?
Nothing. I mean, everything is right now due to pandemic. I mean, that spot I was talking about, the community Dot's concept store, is we shut it down because we couldn't support it. I mean, unfortunately, all the events right now are closed. I mean, we cannot be in any kind of events due to pandemic. So, unfortunately, hopefully soon.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
there is this one place you can visit to see most of the Georgian designers. It's called Ieri Store. It's located in old wine factory. So you can visit that one, and also Morislav, if Morislav will be open. So those are like two places.
You mean to shop?
Yeah, to shop and to see like the jewelry designers. They also have booths.
You can see, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But as for the events, no, nothing is going on for now.
Unfortunately, we don't have any events. You can just visit the restaurants there.
Of course, I will. Thank you so much. And I also wanted to mention that Beso and Maia, I love your work.
Thank you.
I would probably wear all the sweatshirts and pants this pandemic. And Maia, when we go back to normal, I love aesthetic and clean and confident that shows in your work. So thank you. And I'm really, really honored.
Thanks. I think everybody wants to get out from sweatshirts and want to wear something nice and have a makeup and just get dressed, right?
If I learn how to do that again.
Let's throw out all these sweatshirts.
Yes.
We don't have them anymore.
Thank you.
Wonderful. It looks like we have one more question. We'll try to wrap up as quickly as possible. I know some people are probably going to have to leave. So if you need to leave, feel free to go. Renee, Professor Cooper, do you want to ask your question?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Hello.
Hi. This has been very exciting for me. I am from the business side of the House of FIT. And so I love hearing about how you took your creative skills and really turned them into impressive businesses. And so I'm wondering, pre-pandemic, when you first started, how did you build your network? Because that really seems to be what has kept you going during the pandemic, having a strong network and communications inside of your country and internationally. And I know that you were able to really respond immediately once that Balenciaga publication came out, which was amazing. But how did you do that so quickly and build a network that supported your businesses?
Well, social media was a big help, actually, and also via LinkedIn. We also used to travel to Paris back like before pandemic to visit different showrooms, and those showrooms were bringing different buyers and guests. So we've been building this contacts like step by step for a very long time. And also like Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week helped very much by bringing very interesting and serious people here in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also through the word of mouth. I mean, everybody knows each other in the fashion industry. So they bring another buyer brings another, market researchers, or Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week really helped actually to get that on the map also.
Yeah, I feel like, Salome said digital is very important, and that's why we pay so much attention to it, because like if a brand does not sell or exist like heavily digitally, personally, I don't really understand like how that's possible in 2021 already. But for me, when I started the Berhasm 2 years ago, well, of course I had contacts, because my first job in fashion was Stella McCartney in New York. So of course, like I went to fashion weeks, like, and this and that, and that was very important. But the first this pop-up show that we did, it was like basically friends and family. There were like 20 people who we invited as models, and they brought their friends, and there were 600 people at our event at the club, the underground sex club that I mentioned before. And among them, happened to be a writer from Dazed and Confused and this and that, and we got like 7 publications just by people who wanted to write. And once that happened, of course, that attracted more, of course, then we started, pitching our story to other media, because we were already, talked about by some great media. So yeah, it just started like going easier. But of course, yeah, sometimes you can just use friends, and it can work totally fine.
Well, thank you very much for everyone for your responses, and congratulations and continued success for you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Cooper. That's so interesting that you guys keep referencing Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week. That's really how Marissa and I learned to discover and fall in love with Georgian talent. And in fact, we attempted to reach out to Sofia Ciconia because we know how just prominent and amazing she is in really building the Georgian fashion community internationally. I just want to wrap up. We don't have that much. We're actually out of time, so we're going over time. But before we go, I do want each of you, and I like to do this at the end of the panels, but each of you to share 1 to 2 other individuals, whether they're designers, artists, business leaders in the region, in Georgia, that we can learning a little bit more about it. Whoever.
I didn't hear the
Shall we
question.
just say, or maybe we shall type in chat, because Georgian names are very difficult to.
Yeah, sure.
You asked to share the names, right? It was breaking. I couldn't hear.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. 1 to 2 other designers or artists.
I will type. Yes.
That we can learn a little bit more about. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Or everyone can go to Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week.
Or
website.
yes, everyone can go to the website.
Well.
Okay.
Cool.
I think, yeah, that's.
Okay, yeah.
Who else?
Who else?
Yeah, so yeah, basically you can go to Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week Tbilisi website and see all the most important Georgian designers there. George Gaviria, of course.
Perfect.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. This is our last Globally Connected event this academic year. This has been so enlightening to me, and thank you very much for joining us. We hope that when things do open up, if you come to New York, that you'll come visit us at FIT.
Yeah, it would be great to go back to New York.
We would love to.
Great. We look forward to that so much. Zeke or Marissa, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just want to say thank you to our lovely panelists. It was I think I heard everything exactly what I wanted to learn, and I was obviously so excited to learn about your emerging industry, and it just sounds so wonderful and so exciting, and I can't wait to see also how this progresses and life after the pandemic, and how we all get to get back to normal and see you guys keep blossoming, keep progressing, because it's very exciting.
Thank you. And maybe we can write FIT because we're looking for interns, designers. So our doors are open. So we're receiving European designers from European schools. And I was thinking about Parsons and FIT too. So invite us for internship.
Totally.
Absolutely. I'm sure FIT would be very interested in a partnership with you guys. Thank you so much. It was so amazing meeting all of you. We hope to meet you in person someday. Maybe we'll be in Tbilisi or somewhere in the world. Maybe you'll be in New York. But thank you so much for taking the time. I know it's a little late for you guys. Thank you to our audience for joining us. Have a wonderful day. I hope you are leaving a little bit more inspired.
Thank you, Zeke and Marissa.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Please take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you, Salome.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Marissa, I know that you're a freelance writer and I am as well. So I was hoping, I mean, the panel was amazing. Thank you so much for coordinating it. And I also want to connect with you guys as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, this year has been so good. I mean, for freelance writing, like, I don't know if you've had the same experience, but like with everyone reading digital and stuff, it's a lot more like easy and open up to write for all these publications and that. Yeah. But what's your experience like with freelancing? Have you had?
Well, for me, I started kind of randomly. I got an opportunity to work for a small magazine in LA, so I took it. And then from that point on, I did photography for the magazine and styling and everything. And I went abroad to Rome in 2020. So I got lucky there as well and worked with an editor in Wanted in Rome. And then I had to leave Rome because of the pandemic. But just getting to Italy kind of opened every door for me. And it made me realize that, you know, it's not just America's not the only country in the world.
Right.
So there's so many opportunities in Europe and there's so many talented people in the world. So then from that point on, I just have been educating myself on the world and everything that is happening and how to become a better writer, not just with my articles, but as, you know, an actual writer, feelings and fashion and cinematography and photography. So everything really, I think the pandemic opened our eyes for all of us.
Because also, like, we've seen kind of a breakdown of, like, it's not just the glossies anymore, and it's not just about, like, Vogue and this and that and, like, your big four or whatever. Because even, like, with, like, this more obscure, like, your Dazed or your ID and stuff like that, they're still kind of in those boxes of, like, oh my God, that's, like, what you aspire to. And I've learned, like, there's all these cool, like, especially in the digital writing sphere and like you were saying abroad, and like it's so fun to just contribute to like these different publications in the online space, and like it's fun to kind of like brush shoulders with the glossies, but also like do these kind of like obscure publications and stuff. Yeah, I'm the same way. Well, it was actually this year I started as an editorial intern at a small magazine in New York. It's called Mission. And then through my time there, I was like editorial assistant, and now I'm junior editor. I'm actually leaving really soon just because it's time to move on, but it's just been so fun. Like, I just realized like I love to write and I love to, I've always written academically, but kind of getting to freelance is a totally different game, and it's just been so fun.
How did you move up to junior editor? Did you just did well, I assume?
I mean, yeah, with the publishing, I'm not gonna lie, it's unpaid.
She's a genius. Yeah. Marissa is a genius. Marissa is such a talent. She's such a talent.
But it's unpaid, and they're looking for people. Like, the thing is, like, when have you had experience working in like a print magazine? You mentioned you had, right?
I also did unpaid work. I'm looking for something paid right now. Like, I applied to, I guess, newspapers and kind of overachieving applications that I haven't heard back from, but you know how. And so right now, I guess I'm just looking for more clips because it's so valuable to have clips. But I'm not getting paid, so I'll probably just do like retail or something again this summer because I'm not getting paid for my work. I'm not getting paid for my writing. But at this point,
are you an FIT student?
Yeah, I'm AMC.
Oh, okay.
Which year are you?
I'm a senior. I'm going to graduate next semester because I declared a minor. I declared a double minor.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm sociology and English. What are your minors?
I'm doing sustainability and Italian language.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, what I was saying about just moving up is that they're looking for people who they know are going to stick around because they kind of like want their break, or like whatever your first foray into writing is. And as you know, it's like you have to like kind of hold on to that and like go as far as you can with every opportunity, you know, and like even like getting like having your clips and like having stuff to even like throw on your LinkedIn and to show you actually have been like freelancing even when you're not at a publication.
Right.
But that's the thing, that's me this summer too, is like, I was just talking to Zeke about this last night. Like, I kind of don't want to work like some marketing job this summer. Like I want to freelance, but like money's also a thing, and I'm not getting paid to freelance. I approach them,
Right.
you know? So yeah, and then, sorry about that. I don't know what the end game for this is. I might just keep like freelancing forever and see what happens. But yeah,
Yeah,
but with your Instagram, yeah, I'd love to connect. I'll
Yeah,
drop you in the chat right now.
here.
How did you hear about the event, Courtney?
I got an email from the AMC, from the AMC department.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, well, I'd love to. I mean, I'm not Georgian, but it was just so cool to hear their stories. Honestly, it was so valuable to learn about designers in a country that I don't know too much about yet.
I'm obsessed with like Eastern Europe and like the Balkans and kind of like weird places no one really, not like tourist attraction places. I was just so interesting to hear them. They said everything I wanted them to. They like totally.
I know.
Yeah.
They're inspired. They were so inspiring.
Mm-hmm. And how they talked about like their community and everyone like works together. I just think that's so cool.
Yeah. Where are you guys based now?
I'm in Saskatchewan, Canada, but I'm coming back to New York in August.
Nice.
Yeah. And
I'm in New York. Yeah.
what about you, Courtney?
I'm in New Jersey. So
nice.
right outside the city with my family, yeah.
Nice. Are you planning to go back to like move back to the city, or are you going to stay put for a little while?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back. My sister lives in the city, so I visit her from time to time, but it's not the best time to I'm looking for an apartment, but you guys know it's hard with
It's a hard
COVID.
time. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I feel like we all like want to get like super excited, but like these next few months are like so uncertain with like reopening and like vaccines and everything. Just have to see kind of what exactly happens, and then yeah. But yeah, it was wonderful to connect with you, and
Guys,
maybe
for coordinating this awesome. This panel was awesome.
thank you so much for coming. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I was so nervous, but it went like totally without a hitch.
And we're still being recorded. So yeah, we are.
Oh.
Just so we know.
That's good.
But yes,
All
it was so nice meeting you, Courtney. I'm gonna run. You guys do whatever you need.
I mean, I dropped my Instagram there in the chat, Courtney, if you want to look me up.
Okay,
and
yeah,
we can totally
I'm gonna
connect.
add you. I'm gonna add you.
Wonderful. And I'll get you on LinkedIn and we can totally connect. Okay.
I have LinkedIn.
You don't, or you do, or you don't?
I do, yeah, I added you.
Oh, did you? Oh, wonderful. Okay, sweet.
Yeah, all right. I'll see you.
Yeah, so nice to meet you. Yeah, maybe we can work together on something like that.
Yeah, that's what, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
writers, all
Cool. All right, nice. Thanks, Courtney. Nice to meet you.